Alright, folks. I'm in Reno, Nevada. Took a brief glimpse at my parents' Scientology convention, hanging out, and yeah. So basically, what I wanted to do for folks was give them sort of a overview, if you will, and not on Scientology, sort of, but Dungeons and Dragons, and kind of explain why a lot of this discrimination and stuff like that is going on. Okay, so 2010, 2000, mostly 2010, a little in 2011. I had a die set, and so I picked up some dice, and I started rolling, making some rolls, and I got a little whiteboard, and so I was, recording, jotting down a lot of, stuff for D&D of my campaign, for my old campaign, and so basically what I was trying to do was I was trying to continue from where I left off. And so basically, I was able to get a little, unfortunately, the acoustics. I was in a government building doing a lot of this stuff in 2010, and so the acoustics were way overblown. The echo was way too high, and I couldn't make any of the audio aside from the rolls and stuff. But I did videotape, some of the some rolls, but it's bogus. I'm not never gonna remember. I'm not really gonna remember what I rolled for and stuff like that. So essentially, then there's my blog, but I didn't really get into D&D that much on my blog. My blog, you can find it on classmates.com. You just got to go to my high school and my year, find my class, and then you can check out my blog. Huge blog. Okay, so what I wanted to do in this video was basically go over my theory for presenting Dungeons and Dragons in the modern era, sort of spicing up Dungeons and Dragons. I used, you guys can go check www.chriscraighill.com. He's an old classmate of mine. I lived with him when he was going to high school, and we were friends in middle school and stuff like that. He's actually not a friend anymore. I have his phone number, but he never returns my calls. So let's see here. Where do we start? So basically what I wanted to do was I wanted to fuse Scientology with Dungeons and Dragons and come up with a really kick-ass campaign. Essentially, you get the auditing when you pray to the gods, or you use potions, or you look up scrolls, or tomes of magic and stuff like that. Um, yeah, and I thought it would be pretty fun to introduce Scientology in that particular way. Of course, the only problem is um, you have the Scientology auditors code and stuff like that. Um, so I wouldn't suggest doing any drugs. While you're playing Dungeons and Dragons, I wouldn't suggest doing any drugs or using drugs while you're um, trying to audit. This was just a fun idea I came up with a long time ago after getting, as a kid, I got a lot of processing and stuff like that, and I always wondered what it would be like to audit someone, from the DM screen, from the dungeon master's perspective. And so basically that's what I want to do is basically roll out D&D with Scientology. And yeah, I think it would be pretty kick-ass. If I could deliver some really cool processes and stuff. I know that my relatives and stuff aren't too happy with me coming up with a lot of this stuff. But I don't think there's anybody in this entire world that would really have the desire to do this or really care or really think it's possible. I really don't think Wizards of the Coast is interested. And I really don't think that Scientology is interested. And I really don't think any political faction is interested either. Democrats, Republicans, stuff like that. So very much on my own in this regard. And I thought, what the hell? I'll take the risk. Go get trained. I'm slated to get trained by Pat Krennic to get the grades and as well as get my training. So it should be pretty exciting. I think that one day I'd like to be able to pull off a few read-alouds from the D&D source material as well as the Scientology source material. Read-alouds that will get posted directly to YouTube. That's another project that I don't think TSR or Scientology is interested in. That wanted to put the word out on. It's a guaranteed hustle. Anybody that does it, especially if you're a stripper or any female that's attractive and you want to pick this up, by all means, you'll probably get noticed. You'll probably get discriminated. Practically. Overnight. A huge, massive movement will engulf you, essentially. Okay. There's a lot to look forward to through this regard. If you check iTunes and you look at what Scientology has posted and you look at what TSR is doing or Wizards of the Coast, and it's just nothing is read aloud, nothing is presented, nothing on YouTube. And they're trying to keep it that way. Both sides are trying to keep it that way. So I figure that one of these Veritas projects or Langley Productions or whoever is trying to help the Catholic Church discriminate on this stuff. It's unbelievable. They got a big time PR ghetto marketing campaign. And that's one of the reasons why all these immigrants are up here is so that they can discriminate and promote the Catholic Church and stuff like that, make things seem all goody goody two shoes or whatever, when in fact they're just discriminating on anything that isn't Christianity or South America or what have you. Um, you know, the ability to deliver superpower processing or OT levels or grades or any of this spectacular stuff in the game of Dungeons and Dragons as an auditor dungeon master is so revolutionary. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants to be a DM auditor. It's unbelievable. It is a big time hustle, and I just can only imagine when this gets out publicly, when this gets looked at, picked up, of course, and I can only imagine what these folks are going to do. I hope that you folks appreciate watching and subscribe to my channel and Google Plus, and maybe we can set up a hangout and find out who's interested, who's game, and so on and so forth. Obviously, I think that it's a hustle worth pursuing, exposing these people. Yeah, I mean, it's they're hating free speech and freedom of information and on and on. So yeah, definitely put the word out on this video if you're watching. Um, Ryan Robles for Google taking off.